Any decisions you can make, you can
Yeah.
get aggressive in the toilet, you can go back over towards that long A area. It's not really the bomb side itself, maybe just how the map itself functions. So I'm just going to go the B side of this map.
I kind of liked B on cobblestone, to be honest. At least from a viewing perspective, like I think it's a visually pleasing map, if that makes sense. I like the green, I like the cobblestones. Maybe that's just me though, because no one else seemed to really like cobblestone. But there you go. Moe started off well. Pistol round off to a cracker for ground zero. Although I'm not so sure that one kill necessarily constitutes a cracker. We shall see, though, what AVANT can do in response. They've managed to get in towards B. Elusive has a favorable aim duel here, but Burn has got two that are coming around the world from A. So it's just these remaining two players for AVANT that are pushing their way into the B site, and they still have yet to deal with Void. Now the smoke has faded, and the players in CT can help him out, if that was even necessary, because Elusive, the last alive now on 2 HP, is going to have to hit some very phenomenal shots to win this round.
Yes, indeed. So it's looking like a pretty good start here for ground zero, which is definitely what they needed in this map in particular.
Elusive still not sure as to what's going on in Banana. There's going to be no banana smoothies made here for Elusive as he does fall, and that's one round up for ground zero. A better start to Inferno, certainly, than what we saw on Nuke, which was, I think, 13 rounds before ground zero got there first. Deagle's being invested in by AVANT. They are quite happy to force into the round and try and take back control of Inferno before it's really even been given over to ground zero.
Yep. AVANT, they do like to go for these T-side Deagle buys, which we have seen them make work against Chiefs, as well as I think against Greyhound maybe once.
Couldn't specifically think of the time.
Well, they only have taken a bit of damage over onto Elusive, taking this carpet and a bit of bracket at this point, and they're looking to try to find some tools with these ground zero players, but so far, oh, there it is. Raz pops ahead of them, getting a bit over-aggressive towards the jungle side, which is going to put pressure on this rotate. You see Moe making his way over there, but AVANT, as they often do with these Deagles, they're just taking their time. They're going to go retake this banana control. Yeah. This could be excellent stuff from them.
A few pretty strong Deaglers on this AVANT roster.
For sure.
And Extinct is going to peek his head out. There is a firing squad here, and you can just bet your bottom dollar that he was not going to survive at all. As soon as he turns the corner and sees that many players there, all they have to do is just be like the British longbowmen, you know, back in the day, Pilly. All of them fire at once, no worries. Someone's going to hit something. But we're not playing Age of Empires 2, sadly. And now it's time for ground zero to try and retake the bomb site. I think they're going to need to work hard on this one. Moe does have a pretty nice angle, may well spot Raz here, but some damage done over to Burn. He's got to find another one, and he does. But that timer is starting to tick very, very quickly indeed, and Soju round the back is going to find Burn. APAC with the recovered from us is going to finish things off, and then Soju with the cherry on top will get Moe as well. Nice round out from AVANT, and those Deagles and Armor being put to good work.
So there's the difficult money situation that ground zero have to face into this round, and this is why you often see teams just force buy after they do lose to that force of their opponent, because it does put your money, especially early on in the game, you don't have the loss bonus or anything built up, so it does put your money in a difficult position where you will have to double eco. So ground zero are just going to force it as well and try to not let this game get out of control. 3 of AVANT's players' money are pretty good, as they have taken those guns away in the last round. Bit of damage there for Burn, also a dangerous Deagle off.
Brackets control has been established for AVANT as they continue to push in toward the A site. Smokes do go down from ground zero, however, which forces AVANT to turn back. That doesn't really matter too much, though, as they just turn around and go the other way, and now they're pushing into the A bomb site regardless. Well, another smoke does bloom in front of them. Burn will fall, and now just Void with that from us. We'll see what he can do. Has done a little bit of damage. Moe trades out as well. When all said and done, though, chips are down in the favor of AVANT here, 2v1. Bomb being planted. And Extinct has a massive crossfire to deal with a Deagle no less. Not exactly the kind of gun that you'd favor in a situation like this.
It's smoked off as well, and as soon as he makes his way through that smoke, Mizu just pops his head with the MP9. Just going to put even more money in the bank account of Mizu. 6.8k for the man. That's going to reset the economy of Ground Zero, so they did get off on the right foot on the pistol, but quickly after that, they have found themselves at a pretty big deficit. It's going to be pretty hard for them to get their money back under control, so they will have to save for quite a while. And even heading into the next round, they won't have the best of buys. You know, the win conditions for Ground Zero, they need that utility, and they definitely need the AWP on Zemp on the CT side here of Inferno.
Raz is just farming up some cash right now. APAC wants to get involved as well. And Elusive will spoil the party by getting a kill with the FAMAS. Otherwise, that was 5 kills onto SMGs. Nonetheless, a very easy looking round for AVANT, even despite the stack of Ground Zero. And we sort of appear to be headed in a similar trajectory to what we were on Nuke.
Potentially so.
No, maybe not the same extent, but it's definitely AVANT that are on top at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. They've got full control of their economy. They're hitting these shots pretty cleanly. Over on the side of Ground Zero, you do see the smoke being put onto top of Nana there for Moe, which would have given his teammates a one-way if AVANT had put a molly onto the top of Nana, but they won't. They're going to go fast up this jungle side. Completely catches Burn with his pants down. And this pace from AVANT is so blistering.
Indeed it is. Void will be a problem, though. Traded out fairly aptly by Soju. And overall favourable entries for AVANT, 3 for 2. And now the onus falls on to Extinct and Moe, who have largely not been able to do a whole lot in this series. Again, I think Extinct and Moe actually have had their moments, comparatively compared to the rest of the Ground Zero players, and there's one of them.
What a retake.
As I'm just rambling on, they just smack AVANT. How has that happened? All 3 players go down in the matter of seconds.
I'll forgive you for being caught off guard by that, because Ground Zero, that's not a likely retake for them to be coming away with. You would have pretty much wrote them off towards the end of part of that round, but it really was the utility usage and good timing coming in from the CTs. Nice flashbang enables them to be able to win some of those duels. So that's going to keep them alive on this CT side, but for how much longer, with how close that round came down, their money is starting to suffer. Over on the side of AVANT, they've still got some cash to be leaning back on, heading into the future. Only really Soju who's going to be struggling to buy. Now a bit more of a standard set round out of AVANT. Really could have said they should have come away with that last one and completed that post-plant. But now a bit more of a standard default round from the lads on AVANT. So they are spread out across the map, putting some pressure onto Banana, now taking control of the carpets.
Well, Extinct is holding close, and Elusive does not check, but still wins the aim battle. He'll be traded out by Moe, but that certainly could have gone worse for AVANT, and now Moe going to try and re-aggress as his own smoke blooms. He may be lucky to get away with his life there, particularly as he is the only player on the B-bomb site right now for Ground Zero. It looks like AVANT is headed toward the A site, however. Getting those pop flashes through, that'll enable Soju just to peek the angle, sets himself on the line in case anyone from Ground Zero does re-contest. On the A bomb site right now, there is not a huge amount of utility. In fact, it is just a smoke and a couple of flashbangs. But maybe AVANT not going to be too interested. They're heading all the way around the world, and unless Burn is really switched on, this is going to go very poorly for him. He might well get the trade onto Raz, but I think that does not matter in the grand scheme of things. Mizu from the back dispatches of Burn. And now for Zemp and for Void, I mean, you could almost argue it's better off trying to save here, though they do get that kill onto Mizu. Somehow Soju survives. Ground Zero feel as though they can make this happen, and why not? They did win a 3v2 just before. And here's another chance for them to win a 2v2, another clutch. APAC has other ideas, however. I think the time has ticked away just a little too significantly, and APAC also dispatches quite easily of Void. So that's 4 up for AVANT, and that's probably worst case scenario for Ground Zero, as their money again is pretty shot.
Yeah, unfortunately, that was the round that they needed to close out. It was a bit of the same sort of case that we saw with that Greyhound Chiefs game in the first series of the day, where unfortunately AVANT built up their money like Greyhounds so much that Ground Zero needed to win multiple gun rounds back to back and win them cleanly, but they don't do so, and therefore their money gets reset. And instead of saving, they will just try to force buy their way back into this game, but Zemp doesn't get any more damage, instead just gets legged. They're going to have to make these pistols and SMGs and deagles with utility work, which on Inferno is a possibility as long as if you use your utility correctly, you can definitely force the T side into a difficult position where you can make those pistols work in some of these closer angles.
Perhaps. Avant do have a lot of utility though, and that should aid them in really being able to clear out the angles that Ground Zero can be holding, especially towards the B bomb site. There's only so many places that you can be once, especially once the CT angle is smoked off, the coffin angle is smoked off. There's only 2 or 3 places really on that site, and with some decent Molotovs, even those are quite difficult to hold on to. So here comes the utility. Some nice stuff out from Avant though as they get the counter smoke down at a very good time. That'll force Avant to push on through. More of a chance here for Ground Zero than they might have otherwise had, but Raz easily able to find 2 on the entry. Like he just waltzed into the site really, and took 2 heads.
Yep, and this force buy is not going very well for Ground Zero, unfortunately. So that's going to indicate that they're probably going to get their money reset again next round. Would be difficult for them to deal with, as Avant are going to move up to 5 rounds and then potentially 6 after that if this is going to be a save coming out for Ground Zero. And we really just haven't seen an opportunity where their money's healthy enough to get all the utility and rifles that they need and the AWP onto Zemp, which is what was doing such good work against Greyhound when they played on this map. Played them on this map, rather.
5-2. Avant continue, I'd say, a slow march forward. You know, this hasn't been a particularly blistering map like what Nuke was, but they're getting the job done. That's really what matters at the end of the day. And again, I mean, for Avant, they don't really get a whole lot out of this series. It is more so just the bragging rights. Another eco round out for Ground Zero, though, with the pistols. And, of course, Void having an SMG, but really, what good is that going to do? There is a smoke here for Ground Zero to try and play around, and it's a bit of a stack in toward B, but that was fairly easily negotiated last time by Avant, and that certainly seems to be the case once again. That's a pretty quick and fast round for Avant, 6-2. Not much to really write home about there for Ground Zero.
Definitely not. Not really chipping down this Avant economy whatsoever at this point. Lots of money for them to be able to lean back on. And finally, a half-decent buy coming out of Ground Zero. Good utility across the board and the double AWP setup for both Moe and Zemp. So this would be where you'd expect them to turn it around. Avant, pretty stock standard round from them thus far. Going to start to apply slight pressure towards Banana. They have taken the carpets area. Raz is burning alive in towards that Olof area and will be pushed off the line. Extinct and Moe just trying to see what they can find over towards this Banana area. They don't want to give up this part of the map as it is a pretty crucial one to hold. 1 for 1 there.
Oh, and Extinct thinks he's going to fancy himself here with the AWP. Mizu had a bit of a chance there, may have lost it now, and Soji will fall even as a result. So one that's gone begging there for Avant, though Mizu makes amends for it, but is traded out by Zemp. Still, it's toward the B bomb site where Avant have their remaining 2 players clustered, and with a smoke here for Elusive, a flashbang as well, they should well be able to get into the site. It comes down to the timing on the shot here from Extinct. He actually ducks down. They don't see him. APAC very aware, though, of where he could be. That has opened the bomb site. Now it's all onto Avant, just with the aim duels, really. No utility to work with here.
No kits for either of Burn or Zemp, so they're going to have to pick up the pace heading into this bomb site. Love this double dark setup, though, from AVANT. Going to be very difficult for Ground Zero to read, and they don't have a Molotov to be able to flush these players out.
Yeah, you're not going to expect this at all. APAC, if he gets the first one here, the round is probably over, well and truly, and there goes Burn. APAC might as well finish this one off himself. Does just miss that second shot onto Zemp, but now the timer has ticked too far anyway. And Zemp will indeed be finished off by APAC, 7-2. And AVANT continue to put in the hard work here on Inferno.
So again, money pretty shot here for Ground Zero. Probably just going to half buy into this round. But it is not a good sign for them at all on this CT side that they can't convert at the round where they finally get the AWP and the utility out.
Not just the one AWP, but two.
That's right.
And back onto the pistols once again. It's an all too familiar territory for Ground Zero. They've stacked the B bomb site a couple of times on their ecos, and now they're making an adaptation by stacking A, which AVANT may consider a little less defended if they are aware that it is an eco for Ground Zero. But it seems unlikely that AVANT should fall too much into this trap. That's a nice individual play from Zemp, and actually the flashbangs come through. That was a team flash, I think, from AVANT. It's given Zemp the chance to win that aim duel as well. So now there certainly is a little bit to be said about this round for Ground Zero, particularly with Mizu going down as well over there on A. At the very least, he has kept 3 players there. But if Burn even gets 1 right now, which he almost does, that could well have been the round over. Still a chance in this one for AVANT, but they need to get the bomb down quickly, and APAC is too busy lining up an incendiary. Burn just dispatches of Elusive. How has this one fallen apart? Wow, Burn! 2 with the Deagle. And AVANT, to let a round like that slip after the start that they've had, that's a little disappointing.
So there you go. Ground Zero kind of been gifted a round that they didn't, I mean, they desperately need, but they didn't necessarily, I guess, win it in the conventional means of winning these gun rounds. But that's going to give them a big buffer in terms of the money, which has been a bit of an issue thus far in this half. Great nades into second mid, but Raz just rips the head off Zemp when he tries to peek into middle. She was getting away with time and time again against Greyhound. And Raz again opening up the round.
We've been talking about that first bullet accuracy of Raz in the last couple of days, and that certainly seems to have continued. Well, the trend is continuing. I'm not sure that he's going to get away with one against Extinct here, though. On the back, but APAC able to trade out. Double binks him with the P250.
All
and
right,
again
APAC.
onto Moe. He's not too keen on how that last round went, so he's going to have a bit of revenge with the pistol. And the job falls onto Void.
I don't think we're ever going to see a team have more money than Ground Zero will have if they lose this round.
Off the back of a loser's bonus.
Off the back of losing, yeah. Look how much cash, like, you just lost a round. Here you go, Burn, have $7,500.
Yeah, no worries.
Pretty ridiculous.
I wonder if that is just a small blip in the radar there for AVANT, or if it does eventuate into something more. They've kind of worked their way over the speed bump pretty easily. There's some more ahead.
Look at that one way being thrown out by Ground Zero right after the start of the round. Puts out that top of Nana Molly. Pretty cool stuff.
Yep.
What do you think? You like that, Jordan?
I love it.
Excellent.
Here comes AVANT. They have already spotted Moe on the angle. Extinct has a great chance. The spray down is good. Fantastic flashbangs out from Moe as well. And APAC eventually gets the trade, but damage is done. APAC will decide to fall away. That's probably a wise move because Moe was lurking. Does AVANT have a way to bring this one back? It's not going to be easy. Whoa. Well, there goes Soju. Job's going to get even more difficult. Oh, Flash somehow still caught Mizu.
It would be the man to step up, win this round here for AVANT.
I don't know. At the very least, luckily, Pit is not in Ground Zero's control, and AVANT are aware that there was someone at Graveyard when that smoke went down, but now the timer has ticked away so far that to see them find these two players on the side is going to be very difficult. The Molotov does go in, and that forces the peek from Void. Burn, though, gets the clothesline onto Mizu, and APAC now cannot win the round. Secondary AWP has actually been taken through for Ground Zero.
Might be an opportunity for Ground Zero to put their foot in the door at this half here.
Wait, is that a third AWP, or did someone pick up the second AWP that got thrown off?
About to find out. Nope, no third AWP. You're tripping.
Well, it just looked like he threw it a little bit too far away for someone to pick up.
Well, AVANT, they're running out of money. Can't believe Zem's alive right now. Molotov is going to hold this push from AVANT. Oh, they don't put it out. He thought about it.
Yeah, I almost could see Elusive putting that out and AVANT throwing themselves through it, but that's what's going to happen straight after the Molotov disappears, and it's a favourable trade. Great work from AVANT. Couple looking left, couple looking right, but Zemp has a collateral. I'm not sure it's enough to bring back the round into the favour of Ground Zero, but at least gives them a balanced scale. And a 2v2 now. AVANT, what have you got for us? Or does Ground Zero continue to make inroads? There goes the first. Soju deadly as ever. And Moe may well find a couple more holes in his table after this. Because AVANT is going to win another round. Table.
I thought you said tail for a second.
He doesn't have a tail, unless you know something I don't.
Can confirm, I'm pretty sure he doesn't have a tail. Unless he's into some certain, you know, pop culture things that some people do like to, you know, put on certain suits and stuff, Jordan.
Oh, yeah?
Which do have tails. I would be surprised if Moe was into that kind of thing, though.
I would be a little bit as well.
All right. Ground Zero, they lose the round, but they are going to buy because they know that they killed all the AVANT players, which means AVANT doesn't have very much money. And they're going to run straight at Extinct, who only has a 5-7.
And a smoke, but the smoke's not really going to keep him at bay that much.
Perfect util usage.
You say it's only a 5-7, well, it certainly can get the job done. Mizu will trade through the smoke.
Wow.
Boy, oh boy.
Extinct, digging deep. Drops the smoke. Under Armour flash, comes in, doubles up with the 5-7. You wouldn't have seen it coming. And that might be what Ground Zero needs to make this a 6-9 half.
Oh, Moe misses a pretty critical shot. However, Burn just creeping around the corner with the pre-fire. He's going to get both of them. And now it's onto Mizu. And he has had his fair share of clutches and his fair share of good rounds in the Pro League thus far. See what more he can provide for us, as he has really been putting on quite a show. Got some time to work with. Peek right into the angle that Zemp is holding, but he gets away with it and now actually manages to cross the barbecue. But the smoke does go down. That'll keep the player from peeking. Zemp misses a shot. Well, he hits it. Doesn't hit it well enough, and that means that it falls to Void to finish the job.
There you go, Ground Zero. They broke AVANT's money. Right on the last round.
For the first time in this series.
And it's all thanks to that play from Extinct. The man is stepping up. Look at him go.
Stepping up. He's 7-11. What's he stepping up from?
I mean, 7-11 is just like the convenience store. He's very reliable.
I don't know if I've ever actually bought anything at a 7. Just going to put that out there.
I think I bought a green tea at 3 a.m. in the morning when I was a bit intoxicated and need a bit of hydration.
Definitely sounds like something you would be prone to do. It's 9-5. AVANT may well make it 10 if they have another one of those pistol rounds that we've seen from them before. But Extinct well and truly shutting that one down. 3 kills for him. Raz finally gets the trade as he starts to run out of ammo.
And he's made a lot of money for the next half as well.
Anyway, if Moe goes down here, then we may be in with a chance for Avant. See what Soju can do. Not a lot, apparently. And Raz just slows down. Eventually does get the better of Moe, but 1v3. He's going to take the run and gun approach to this one. Tries to win the fight that way, but it's 9-6 at the end of the first half there for Avant.
Yeah, so Ground Zero, a couple of good rounds, being able to make this half a little bit more competitive than the start. Avant were able to get off to it for themselves, but now Avant moving on to their CT side.
We'll see whether or not they're going to be able to make much of it after the break. Well, not as disappointing of a first half for Ground Zero this time on Inferno as what we saw there on Nuke. Certainly no 14-1 for Avant, that is for sure. But still a pretty good start to the map, it must be said, for Avant. And they're well on their way to finishing off the series 2-0.
Yes. Onto their CT side, they should have a pretty good run at things, you would assume. Especially considering that Ground Zero's better side against, well, I keep bringing it up, but against Greyhound was the CT side. And they weren't able to get a round lead on that one. So that's going to make things a bit harder. However, this pistol could either put Avant into a very good position to be able to close this game out, or Ground Zero could be making this one very, very close affair.
Prolonging it perhaps a little bit. Void just deciding which way he wants to go.
Yeah, well, he has to decide. It's a big decision moving out of spawn there.
It is. You go left or you go right.
I know. Sometimes they go in the middle up towards those tea carpets.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe over towards the kitchen. Fry up a little something.
Looking forward to doing that tonight. I'm getting a little bit hungry, Pilly.
Me too. Shall we eat Japanese food for the 4th night in a row?
Yeah, probably will. Okay. Ground Zero have slowly started to progress on through the map. Carpets control now theirs. And again. It's a big stack on A, though, from AVANT. 4-1 split.
All the boys.
And absolutely no information on Banana either. It's pretty ballsy from AVANT. Well, Mizzou's gone down, but it's a good trade out from Soju. However, we do see Ground Zero start to work their way toward B. Looks like APAC has cottoned onto this and starts to make his way over. Elusive calling out that there is a bit of utility coming in, and now he's calling out that he has gone down.
I think he expected the flashbangs to be coming in there.
How's APAC won that aim duel? He's given Moe 3 or 4 free shots and then turned around and just killed him. No worries at all. Can he win any more, though? With this low HP, it's going to be tough indeed. Relies on Soju and Raz now, but luckily Raz, the player with the defuse kit and a good pistoler in his own right, but will fall to Void. Not a great spot for the defuse kit to be dropped either for Soju. He's just going to tap the bomb here. But obviously Ground Zero will be well aware that he's not going to stick that. What a flick! And Soju, he almost lined up extinct there as well. Not quite good enough, though. Ground Zero will win the round.
There you will. AVANT, wouldn't be surprised to see them go for a bit of a force buy here, Jordan. Bit of the old force buying. There it is. Couple deagles and armor. Soju's going to get himself an MP9. Love a bit of Soju in the carpets on this map.
I bet you love Soju on the carpet. How about these pistols, though, from AVANT? Are they going to have any kind of an impact? Raz's will not. He's pushed down middle.
All right.
Good flick on a Zem. But Moe's there for the trade.
Soju's pushing into the apartments. Could be the mid-round push that unravels it all for Ground Zero.
It's all coming down to the timing. APAC. Again, another push out, that time on B. Which way does Soju go? This is perhaps the right one. He's going to hear Moe, that is for sure. Oi, hang on, where's the bomb going to go from here, though, as well? If it comes through carpets, this may be Soju's round to win. He's spotted Burn. Does he turn around? Is he aware? Yes, he is. Void made some noise. But Soju, this is such a tough angle for him to hold. Oh, the peak is great. And now it's onto Elusive, but he just does not land that final shot onto Moe.
Wouldn't be surprised to see just another force out of AVANT off the back of that. They don't necessarily need to fully commit to it. They could just go for pistols and armor. I mean, sorry, just pistols rather. That probably would be the more sensible approach and the more well-rounded approach if Ground Zero do come away with this round in particular. So already AVANT doing quite a bit of damage to the money of Ground Zero on this CT side. They'll be having a good buy into the next one, which if they do damage to Ground Zero again in this round, could be the gun round that gets them the momentum after losing the pistol.
Whew. Ding, ding, ding. Hearing a lot of them. No kills, though. At least not for AVANT. This time, Raz will be able to manage one. Bombs going over to A. Players have managed to get in the site, though. Soju's position should be fairly obvious. Ground Zero saw him cross. And that'll be the round over. So we'll be equalizing at 9 apiece, and you start to feel as though Ground Zero can come back into this, and indeed have come back into this. Is there a world in which we go through to map 3?
Definitely could be the case, Jordan. However, we need to see a couple more gun rounds out of AVANT before we can 100% count Ground Zero to be pushing it through to Mirage.
Yep.
No AWP for AVANT. 5 rifle. Wow, Ground Zero, they just stopped it. Put the brakes on there. Go for the boost. Does work out for them as Zem picks off Elusive, but traded back by Raz. Now with ground zero, they have banana control. They have control of this boiler area towards carpet. Mizu might be able to find a timing in the mid-round here.
He has.
Wow.
Not sure if he actually spotted him through the smoke there or if that was just spam. Either way, the result is the same. AVANT haven't floated an extra player over to A just yet, but it's still two stoic defenders right now. Soju's going to get the one-way smoke down. Seems as though ground zero aware of that. Some utility headed in his direction, but Mizu is doing the damage. He's doing the things. Moe left alone. 1v3.
It's doable for him.
Doable, but difficult indeed. Raz finishes it off with the help of the flashbang from APAC.
There you go. All
That's
those
gone round
things
to the
he
half.
did. He did dirty, dirty things to ground zero's economy there.
That's good as far as AVANT is concerned.
Wouldn't be surprised to see a half buy out of ground zero in this round. There it is. AVANT, they can't afford to take extra gun losses in this round. Their money is still a bit too shaky. So that's why ground zero want to buy up deagles and stuff in this round, because they want to get those kills onto the C tiers, even if they don't win the round.
Not going to be too easy, I don't think. This is a fairly difficult crossfire to deal with without too much utility. A couple of flashbangs there for Moe, of course. But if they do push A, if they do push brackets, AVANT have got themselves set up quite nicely. No time to smell the roses right now. But these will be the flashbangs through that I was talking about. If ground zero can capitalize on these two, then there's a chance. APAC gets his own down and backs away. Soju does take the opportunity as ground zero are distracted to push on through. APAC long spray down, gets Zemp and continues it on to Burn. Keeps himself alive. This is looking like a nice round for AVANT, unless Moe and Extinct have anything to say about it. But they don't get the opportunity to even open their mouths. 11-9.
5 up for the CTs. It's great for the money. Ground zero going to be buying into this one. Lacking a bit of utility on Extinct and Burn in particular. But not the worst thing in the world. Pardon me, sorry, my throat's trying to kill me again.
Understandable.
Ground zero now going to go for this Nana control. I think they expected AVANT to actually take it, but when that didn't come out, we were a little bit surprised, and now they will easily be able to go for this B control. Looks like they're going to contact into the site. There's no other real explanation. They actually are going to execute, which I'm not sure how I feel about it, considering how much utility the CTs still do have to be able to drop. I would much rather see them just contact into the site, walk in and try with maybe a flashbang.
Well, the utilities do come across from both sides. Incendiary goes down from Elusive, but he still needs to win aim duels. He can't quite, but Raz definitely can. There's 2 kills for him. Is that favourable enough, though, for AVANT? A 3v3 retake, not going to be easy.
I think that's pretty good work from ground zero. They for sure could convert this 3-on-3. Pretty decent post-plant positions as well. Burns the real liability over here towards the coffin. I mean, towards the first orange, rather.
This grenade will definitely hurt Zemp, unless he's already dead, in which case it probably doesn't matter too much. A good kill from Void, but traded nicely by Mizu. And they should know the last position of Burn. Oh my god! That is a spray down and a half.
That's a Burn classic right there. Whew. Big impact play from the man.
God, that even reminds me, like, I don't know if you remember, Pilly, but it was the Fnatic game on Dust 2 at one of the majors. Flusher on the A-bomb site. No, B-bomb site, trying to hold off the retake. I think it was against Envy. Just had like this mad spray down from the guy coming doors and then the guy going out window. That was what that reminded me of. Like that last bullet and you just see it, you're like, oh my god.
You telling me that Burn looked like Flusher?
That's not what I was trying to say.
Alright then. Well, it's a 1-for-1 in the early round, and AVANT do take control of this banana area. Pretty rough round for both teams in terms of the money. Whoever wins this one will definitely take the lead in the half. They're playing for 2, maybe more.
4v4 though, so neither team has a major advantage.
APAC's just like, all right, Soju, get a wriggle on down the second mid apps. It's a good mid-round push to be making.
Definitely.
Elusive's just going to play nice and safe and jump spot that B area. Should be an easy one for AVANT, provided that they navigate effectively through the rest of this round in particular.
Soju's in such a good position here, gets a lot of information. And a couple of kills to boot as well. Cannot complain about that at all. Bomb was spotted as well. And Moe not going to get too much done on the lurk there either. That's such a huge push out. Great timing, great positioning from AVANT.
And with no loss bonus on the side of Ground Zero, they are cooked. Their money is absolutely destroyed. Looking at potentially AVANT going up to 13 or 14 rounds. Unless Ground Zero can force into this one and make the pistols work.
I don't know how I feel about that. Like, not so much that, of course, the decision, but more so the fact of whether or not they can actually make it work. Just doesn't seem to be really quite there for Ground Zero, but maybe we'll see something from them. Mizu's in an interesting position here, though. If he gets burned, then it's probably AVANT's round to lose, but with that said, he doesn't. And now Soju's going to have to deal with 3. Can he spray them all down? Oh, he didn't expect the 3rd. It's all started to go wrong for AVANT. Maybe I've cast a cursed it a little bit. No one on the A site left here for AVANT. Bomb's going to go down. But back into the 2v2, courtesy of Raz. And with a bit of time to play with, it's still winnable round here. Especially if Moe can't get the shot across there. Very sharp stuff indeed from Elusive and Raz. Void has a nice position, but the bomb's not planted for him. And if Elusive just sticks this, he may not well get there in time. I don't think he's going to. Elusive's won the round. Goodness me. What a round that was.
Oh, lordy. Ground Zero definitely could have turned things around there. That would have put AVANT's money in the crapper. But they do barely scrape that one past. And speaking of scraping, that's what AVANT will be doing in this round in terms of buying up. They're scraping the bottom of the barrel in terms of the money. They're completely out of cash if they lose this one. But Ground Zero haven't fully invested into it. Just the half buy in terms of the pistols. They want to keep applying this economic pressure and doing damage to AVANT while they wait to get the buy on the board for themselves. Wouldn't have honestly mind to see Ground Zero just buy up into this one and try to get straight back in the half. But by the same token, if they do get a couple, 2 to 3 guns taken off the hands of AVANT in this round, then they'll be able to do the same in the next anyway, with a better buy.
Fair. Well, rather, this is the decision that has been made. Again, it's going to be the flashbangs from Moe to try and provide that opening for the Ground Zero players, for the fraggers to get in there, do some damage. We'll find out if they're gamers or if they're not. And it turns out that they're probably not. Raz certainly is a bit of a gamer himself. He's gotten 3, nicely done. Elusive finishes off 2.
I think Raz has done his fair share of gaming in his day.
Oh yeah, 28 gamings to 10 not gamings. 18 not gamings, I should say.
All right. Well, that's AVANT putting themselves in the pole position to be able to close out this map. However, Ground Zero will be able to buy up into this one so they can try to win some more rounds. But unfortunately, because they didn't do any damage to the old economy there, Jordan, in that last round there, Jordan. And they're going to have to win back-to-back gun rounds there, Jordan.
Thank you, Mitch, for your analysis, Mitch.
I don't know if they can win those back-to-back gun rounds.
No. Not looking like it today. (14-10). It's only a couple of steps forward here for AVANT before they finish this series off 2-0. That would mark every single game of Group D as a 2-0, and it certainly is looking like it will be that way, won't it? Elusive, however, does go down, and that means that Mizu does too. At the very least, Raz was there to trade. They had 3. on the B bomb site, which is not always standard, but I don't know if that's really what AVANT was looking for. I think the way that that started off, it could have been cleaned up a little bit better.
Ground Zero going to try to consolidate this 3v3. Raz is going to try to grasp onto this B bomb site. He only has the Molotov to be able to lean back on. No one's really in position to rotate. APAC's the closest, and he's in the archers. However, with this clear on mid from Soju, he's going to feel a bit better about rotating in. Oh, Zemp's nice and close, though. Good timing from Raz. Pops up and gets away.
Great timing from Raz, really. But he still is the only one on this bomb side, and being pressured a little bit there by Moe. Has to rely on his teammate in CT, but APAC actually doesn't get a whole lot done. Now the job falls once again onto Raz's shoulders, and they're big shoulders indeed. I've seen he goes to the gym, Pilly. He's able to hold on to it for AVANT. 14-10 now is most likely to turn into 15-10. With only 20 seconds here for Moe, you know, he's cleared out Banana, sure, that's great, but he's got to kill Raz and get the bomb and plant it. And it's just not possible.
There you go.
Raz has just bench pressed him in the bin.
Yep, he goes to the gym and you saw him, he put the team on his back. He popped up and down on that coffin's position. You need those calf muscles to be able to do that.
Yeah, doesn't skip leg day either, I've heard.
Look at him go. All right, he's the force buy from Ground Zero. Potentially the last round of the Pro League here.
At least for phase 1.
Yeah, of the groups of Pro League.
Indeed.
Bit of a missed opportunity there from APAC, but wouldn't be too upset about that. Bit of a more difficult shot to be landing. Ground Zero going to give up that Nana control and go to play in towards the carpets. Like they're winding up for this A set play.
Hasn't really worked out the way they wanted it to. Mizu and Soju peeking around the corner with the Orgs, and this might well be it. Although, the waterfall out from carpets does actually work out fairly nicely for Ground Zero. But can they hold on to this bomb site, Pilly? They don't have any real utility to work with. A couple of smokes and flashbangs here for Zemp, but he's got a MAC-10. There's 3 AVANT players looking to make this retake work. The incendiary down into pit. It's going to force a player out of the position. And now Zemp on the side. He actually does get some work done with that MAC-10, but luckily for AVANT, Void was fully flashed, and that'll be the round over. That'll be the map over. And not only that, but it's also the series over. AVANT are going to win it 2-0. We're done and dusted with round 1 of the ESL